I think the images being produced are despicable and abhorrent, and sexualising images of children is one of the worst crimes imaginable. And I think it is insulting to say that you can still access this service if you pay for it. So Ofcom should use the full powers of the law that Parliament has given it. X needs to get a grip and get this material down, and I would remind them that in the Online Safety Act there are backstop powers to block access to services if they refuse to comply with the law for people in the UK. And if Ofcom decides to use those powers, they would have the full backing of the government. If Ofcom decides that they've refused to comply with the law, they have the powers to block those services. This is hugely important. Women and girls deserve to be safe online. They deserve to be safe in the real world too. This government and the Prime Minister personally has made tackling violence against women and girls a top priority. And as the Tech Secretary, I am determined to do everything possible to make sure that happens.
Well, our People in Politics correspondent Nick Martin is in Westminster for more on this. I mean, it's a controversial issue, obviously, Nick, but realistically, what can the government enforce on X, on Elon Musk?
Well, this is an absolute fascinating point that we're reaching now between how the government tries to regulate and encourage social media platform owners to regulate themselves, and when a government or a regulator like Ofcom have to now step in and make up some kind of sanction. And we're at that crossroads right now because for years the government has been trying to work with social media platforms to get them to clean up their act, whether that's online abuse or posting images, or now with the advent of AI. And what we've got here is a situation where, up until today, Grok, which is X's AI chatbot, you can ask it questions, you can ask it to generate images. Up until now, Grok has been one of the only AI platforms that you can pretty much ask it to do anything. You can ask it to generate whatever image you want, however controversial, however sexualized. Now, what X have done now is they've said, you can't do that if you don't subscribe to X. But if you do subscribe to our service and you go behind that paywall, you can pretty much generate whatever you want. The government is absolutely unhappy with this turn of events. It says that it's an affront to all the victims who've had their images tweaked over the last few weeks, and it's not right. And what the government and what Liz Kendall has just been saying there is that they are willing, with Ofcom, if necessary, to use the Online Safety Act to potentially block X from operating in the UK if it doesn't, in their words, clean its act up. So what we're seeing being played out now is the intersection of government and regulator and social media platforms come together almost as a clash. And it'll be fascinating to see how this plays out. We've reached out to X today. We've heard nothing back from them. But if you subscribe to X and you go behind the paywall, you still access all of these controversial services that Grok, this AI chatbot, has to offer. Now, Liz Kendall told me just a few moments ago when I interviewed her that she wants Ofcom to move pretty quickly on this. She wants the Ofcom to move within days, not within months. We will see what Ofcom say about this, but the potential that X could be banned, their service could be banned in the UK is a really fascinating one, and we'll see how X respond to this. But it's a really interesting development in the story of AI when it comes to online safety, people's privacy, and the developing of images by AI.